Hello and welcome to ReinaMoe's DIY and Designs. I'm your host ReinaMoe, and today we're continuing with the Sweet 16 Masquerade Party. So today I will be doing the low centerpiece ensemble, and then the next video will be the tall one, and then after that one I'll do a fourth video, and that'll be the final reveal of the full tablescape, putting all of these pieces together. So most of my products come from the Dollar Tree. I've got fabric here from Joann's that's in a teal color, a dark teal. And then I went on Amazon, but you can pick this up at Hobby Lobby. You can pick it up at any of your craft stores like Michael's. This is some Oasis foam. You don't have to use Oasis. Dollar Tree even has a dry, a wet foam that you can use. So let's begin. I'm starting off with this cube of foam, and I know you're looking at this. You should remember it from one of my other tutorials, wedding tutorial, where I cut a piece out just to fit into one of the vessels. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish using this foam because it's going to be a staggered look. The first thing I'm going to do is soak my Oasis foam, and the reason I'm doing this to show you is because people tend to make mistakes when it comes to the foam. They put it in water and then they push it down, and it looks like it's completely wet, but on the inside, if you actually cut it, which we're going to be cutting this one, you'll see that you have dry parts, and then you can't go back and re-soak it. It just doesn't work. So what I've done is I've done filled a vase full of water, and I've put flower food in it so that the arrangement can eat and drink at the same time. I'm going to take out one of the pieces of Oasis and just sit it on top and just let it soak on its own, and it will submerge as it fills with water. So that's going to be the first step. It's basically prepping the foam, because that's your real foundation of this arrangement. And just be very careful because this foam is very, very fragile. Like I told you, I'm going to be cutting mine. And so I'm just going to set it there and basically pretty much forget about it. Let it soak and it will sink. As you can see, it's starting to sink. Yeah. So now that that's ready, you're probably wondering, what is she going to do with saran wrap? These trays from the Dollar Tree are so beautiful, but if you put a water element to it, it will rust. Since I don't want it to rust, I'm going to put a little bit of saran wrap on the bottom to give it a slight barrier. And excuse me, this morning I'm getting a little hoarse. But today is going to be a long day. And then I'm just going to kind of fold it down, following the crease of the pan. Now, if you wanted to, you could use a plastic dish. You don't have to use anything metal. But I just want to show you guys on YouTube that you don't have to use the same old thing. You know, if you start thinking outside of the box, your creations are going to be just as beautiful as they would be if you follow someone else's direction. But if you start thinking out of the box, maybe it'll be a little better. So that's what I'm going to use this serving dish for a floral arrangement. So I'm going to set that to the side for now, and then I'll get rid of this. So the next step, obviously, we'll be working with this foam. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I wanted, and I neglected to go back to the Dollar Tree because I forgot. The Dollar Tree have these beautiful little 2x3, I would say, little frames that look like it could be a business card holder or some type of card holder where you could put the word reserved, you can put a table number in it, you can use it as an escort card. And I didn't pick one of those up, but they have them in both silver and gold, and you can order those online as well. That would have been perfect to sit down in here. So what I'm going to end up doing is using some wood craft sticks or popsicle sticks and create my own. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to level this off. And you have to be careful because this styrofoam is so hard. You can cut yourself really badly. So just be really, really careful. You see, I'm just going down with the wiggling motion. And that's because I want to kind of control it. So a little bit as you go makes it easier for you to control. So there, now I have kind of a straight surface to where I could put my table number and any other embellishments that I may want to do, or I can center the table number. Next step is using the fabric. I believe I said I got this at Joann's, but it was Hobby Lobby. I picked up something else at Joann's. Either way, all the craft stores here in Houston I absolutely love. So what I'm going to do is open this up and find where it starts. I bought 2 yards of it, and I know you're probably thinking you probably didn't even need 1/4 of a yard. I'm going to make a table runner out of the rest of the material. And guys, why don't you comment down below and let me know if you would like to see me do a table runner for you all that is either a sew or a no sew table runner. That would be really interesting. I'm curious to see your guys' thoughts on that. So I'm just going to lay it over the fabric so I can have a rough idea of how much of this fabric I'm going to need, which is just going to be a short little square. And then I'm going to mark it with a little snip. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the fabric, and then when I come back, I'll show you what that looks like. So now I've gone ahead and I've cut out my piece of fabric. One thing I wanted to share with you all is that your cutting shears that you use for your crafts, you need to have a minimum of 2 pairs of cutting shears. And it would be great if you had them in different colors, because fabric needs to be cut with 1 shear only. Don't cut anything else with your fabric shears, because it makes the material in the cut just ragged and it damages the fibers in the fabric. So just keep that in mind. Now, these scissors I've been very careful with. I have used them in all of my tutorials here, and you see that I cut ribbon with it, but the ribbon is wired, and that wire dulls the blade as well. So you wouldn't want to cut fabric with shears that you use for anything other than fabric only. Even though the ribbon is fabric, it has wire, so it's considered wire. You don't want to use scissors for fabric that you use for cutting ribbon. That's wired. Just FYI. This adhesive spray I got from the Dollar Tree. Several months back. I've never used it. This is going to be my first time using it in creating this particular arrangement piece, but I just wanted to show it to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spray all over the styrofoam block, and then I'm going to adhere my fabric to it. But before I do that, if you'll notice, this edge is jagged. This edge is the bias edge, but it's straight. So what I'm going to do is use this jagged edge, obviously, towards the back of the arrangement, because nobody's going to really see that. And then this bias edge is going to be able to overlap towards the bottom. So basically, I'm just going to spray this block of foam with the adhesive and adhere the fabric. And when I come back, I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have wrapped the styrofoam block, and look how pretty that is so far. So the next step that I'm going to do is put together the little frame that I told you about, since I didn't pick one up from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to use the popsicle sticks. Now I've already cut these down, so I just measured it. And I measured to 3 inches and then snipped it, and the little bit that was left was this. Now this isn't exactly 2 inches, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that work. I pulled out my hot glue gun, And I'm gonna build the frame, and it's gonna be offset a little bit, but I'm not worried about it, because if you remember that beautiful wrap that I had in the first video that I did with the medium sized or the medium height vessel for this particular project, it had beautiful diamond geometric shaped crystals in it, and that's what I'm going to use on the ends where it's offset. So I'm just going to take the two longer popsicle sticks and place the shorter ones on the end to see where I want them, and then I'm going to go ahead and just put a bead of hot glue. But I'm putting the hot glue here on the edge and just the very tippy tip edge, and connect it. And I'm going to do that on all four sides. And when I come back, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay everyone, so here is what it looks like once you have placed it together and you have blinged it out. So I want to flip it over and show you the back so you can see what I was saying, how it's off skew, but the embellishment of the diamond kind of helps cover over that. I'm placing that so you guys can see. So when you flip it to the front, it just looks like a nice frame. Just looks like a nice frame. And then with this, we're just going to place it here. Now you can put a table number here. You can put a person's name on here if you decide you want to put like name your tables, if that's what you want to do, like a theme. You can place the frame here, you can center the frame, it's whatever you really want to do, but I just wanted to show you that. So the next thing we're going to do is set all of this to the side, and then I'm going to start actually creating the floral arrangement so you can see how that comes together. So let me just place that out of the way. And I know you're probably thinking, what is she going to do with this little piece of foam? There may come a time that I need this little piece of foam, so I'm going to save it. If you choose to throw it away, then so be it. You can do that. But for right now, I'm just going to set that aside. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my vessel, because that's basically what this platter is now. It is my vessel for my floral arrangement. We already know towards the back, that's where we're going to have our fabric wrapped foam. So in the center here is where I'm going to place my different pieces of the wet foam. So I'm going to cut those to fit, and I'm going to use this kind of sort of as my guide so I'll know. I'm going to have a chunk of wet foam on either side and then a larger piece towards the front. So just going to take my foam out, and it is very heavy because it's soaked up so much water and flour food. And I'm just going to set that here on my mat. I'm going to move the vessel out of the way for a little bit. And one of the good things about the Oasis brand is that it's already scored, so you can cut it where it's scored. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use that same knife that I cut the foam, the white foam with, to use here. But if you have a dedicated floral knife, you could definitely use that. Now see, I've cut the foam, and you can see it's completely saturated on the inside, which is exactly what you want. So now I'm going to take my vessel, and I'm going to go ahead and place, well, I'm actually going to make another cut. This isn't scored here, but it still goes down very nice and smooth. There's no difference in the foam. And you want to try not to apply too much pressure because it's a sponge. So it will let go of fluid, and you also close the cells that are used to hold that fluid and retain the moisture for the flowers. So you want to be as gentle as possible. So, and you know what, I'm going to cut it again because I'm going to need flatter, more fatter foam than taller. because I want the styrofoam, fabric wrapped styrofoam to show. So I'm just going to place that there. And this one I'm going to cut in half to smaller blocks and place it here. And you can build it up however you like. I'm just making sure that the foams are touching and that I have plenty of room for the fabric styrofoam block when I come back and put it in. So let me remove this for now. And yes, so this is how that looks now that I have cut my foam. Now you see on the sides here, all I have is empty space, and if I decided that I wanted to go ahead and place more foam there so that the florals can go almost 100% around, then I can do that. So, and I think that is what I'm going to do. Just cut the foam. It's very forgiving. If you wanted to, they make tape. Oasis makes tape. I know that you can find it at the Dollar Tree. It's just basic green tape that you can wrap a bouquet with. But they have them that's a little bit thicker that you could actually use to secure all of these foam pieces together. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go off of camera real quick, grab that tape, and then come back and show you how to strap, because that's what they call it, strapping, how to strap these foam pieces into place. Okay, so here's the tape that I've purchased from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to remove this to adhere all of the foam tape together, the wet foam tape together. So with this, I'm happy with it enough that I can work with it. So all I'm going to do now is start building my floral arrangement. And when I come back, I'll show you how that final look is. So here, guys, you see the final reveal. Isn't that gorgeous all the way around? And then in the very back, you do see the flowers, but you don't really see the hardware, but you see a beautiful satin box that you could affix a fan to, a mask to, if this was going to be your centerpiece only. But since I'm doing it as an ensemble, I left the back out. Now, for the total final reveal on this low centerpiece project. I added lights. And it is just so pretty. You can see we have the little frame here where you can put a number if you want to number the table, if you want to name the table, whatever you want, or if you don't even want to have a frame in this. You don't have to. But this is so stunning. I hope that you can see these flowers here have a tinge to them of teal compared to this white rose that I put in here. And the reason being, these are the flowers that I put in the dyed food coloring, dyed water. And I don't know if it's because the flowers were prepped with a chemical from, it was either H-E-B or Kroger where I purchased them from, that they didn't suck up the dye as readily as they normally would. So, and you can see that there are some brightly colored flowers, which obviously I had to go to our flower district on Fannin here in Houston and have them spray paint the silver and the blue daisies and roses, because I wasn't sure if you guys could really see the blue that did come up in the mums and the carnations that I had the food coloring in. And I have to tell you that that took several days to happen. My best suggestion is get the flowers that you want to use for that. Leave them out of water for a couple of hours while you prep the food coloring water. And if you're doing teal, the first time I only used a couple of drops of each color, the blue and the green. The second time I did it, I added 10 drops of each. And the color seemed to come out a little bit faster. Also, it was very cold here when I first started. As soon as it started warming up, the color came up in the flowers faster. So temperature may have something else to do with it as well. So on that note, if you like this particular tutorial, please give us a thumbs up. Touch your notification bell so that anytime I do a tutorial, which I usually do tutorials 2 to 3 times a week, you'll be notified so you won't miss any. And as always, please leave a comment. I hope to read comments about whether or not you want to see a table runner for a sew type or a no sew type table runner for your next extravaganza. And have a wonderful evening. Bye, everybody.